What's up, guys? This is Seriously Silly. This time I have a video regarding the Macdev GT and the drivetrain maintenance. I just wanted to shoot this video for two purposes. Number one, for people out there who already have a GT and maybe new to Macdev and have never had a droid or a clone VX before, and they just were able to maintain or get a GT, and we're a little bit leery about the maintenance. And also for the other people out there that were interested in the GT, have personally shot it, held it, or have just been reading about it and just wanted to see what the maintenance would involve. Basically, here's my GT. I've had it for about 5 months and it's been doing really well, and I haven't really been playing much, so I've had about maybe 5 cases through this, and after the third case I did a whole O-ring rebuild, but it was just the regular O-rings and no problems with that whatsoever. But recently there's been some activity in the PBN forums regarding higher quality O-rings, and I wanted to give it a try, and those involve different types of O-rings such as Viton and poly, just to be able to tweak it as much as possible. I know there are people out there that are concerned with getting as much as they can in terms of performance with the GT, and so far it's been pretty good. So I just wanted to spend a few minutes showing you the drivetrain and the process I go through in maintaining it. Hopefully it'll be informative to you, and please make sure you give me feedback. But well, here's the GT. Basically, when you want to get to the drivetrain, just pull the back cap up and take it out. Okay, so this is the drivetrain, and what I do is basically just wipe the previous grease off. Okay. Alright. Give it a little twist. So here you have the bolt keg with the bolt inside. Now, one thing I've learned, a tip that I've learned from maintaining a droid to make it easier to take the bolt out is basically to take out the number 14 O-ring out of the bolt, set it to the side, and you'll be able to access the bolt and take it out of the bolt keg a lot easier, revealing the bolt and the spacer. So here's the bolt with a number 14 on the bolt tip. The bolt bumper is a metric O-ring, 15 by 1, and the bolt switch is a 16. Now, as I said before, usually people use Bona O-rings, but if you are the type of person that want to experiment and tweak it, you can look into different types of O-rings, which I'll link below. Those types have been Viton and poly. Now for me, I've decided to use mostly Viton for the extra durability, and some people have said that once it breaks in, it's even slicker than the Bona, so I should be able to drop the pressure a little bit more for increased smoothness and decreased pressure and efficiency. And here is the spacer. Now the spacer has 2 O-rings. They're both the same size. You have a 17 on the outside and a 17 on the inside. Now these also are dynamic O-rings, just like the bolt switch, and I decided to put Viton as well on these. Now the other part of the drivetrain, you have the valve keg, and you just unscrew that. Okay, and inside the valve keg you'll find the valve. And here's the valve with 3 O-rings. Again, those are 17, size 17 O-rings, and the bolt keg, the valve keg, and the power tube. Now the power tube is just held on by a number 20 O-ring on the inside. So basically you just snap it off And once you get to the power tube, you have two O-rings that are 11 size O-rings, and for these I decided to use the more durable O-rings, which are polyurethane, and that should I'm hoping that it'll give me more durability, so I don't have to rebuild it as much. And as far as the performance with these types of O-rings, I'm looking forward to experiencing it once I put a few more cases to it. But as far as the GT and different types of lube, there have been a few discussions on what the best type of lube. There are, of course, the militia lube, and there are, I'd say, 3 different types. The first version actually had 2 types. There's the whitish version and the grayish version. Now, a lot of people have said that the grayish version is a little bit better than the white version, because it's just a little bit slicker and it stays a little bit more. But now, recently Macdev has come up with their version 2. It doesn't come in a jar, but it comes in this little package right here. It's a little bit easier, and from what I've briefly seen, it's definitely easier to apply. And from a lot of reviews from people who have used it on GTs and clones, that it stays longer and is a bit slicker. Now, a few people have also used monkey poo with good success, a little bit more success with the VX. The GT I haven't heard too much about, but a few people out there will testify that these are really good. Not too much. People have talked about Lurker lube, but that's also a go-to lube. The only thing that I've noticed about Lurker lube is that in the cold, people tend to get a little bit more bolt stick than the monkey poo. But any of these lubes are very good. But for me, I really like this one, so I'm going to stick with the new militia lube. But as far as the O-rings are concerned and the drivetrain, the key to bolts, eliminating bolt stick and avoiding consistency problems is to lightly lube the drivetrain and just make sure that it looks wet. You don't want to glob it all on there. That will cause a lot of inconsistencies and maybe some bolt stick and maybe some leaks down the line. But basically, the first thing that I do is the bolt, and I just put a little bit on the bolt switch. Just rub it on there, make sure get it nice and even, and not too much. Like I said before, the key thing is just to make it look wet. Okay, stand it up right there, and you take the bolt keg, get a little bit more, put it on the O-ring, on the inner O-ring of the bolt keg. Just put a little bit in there and rub it around. Okay. Also, on the spacer, there are 2 O-rings, 1 outer, 1 inner. Just a little bit more. So here we are. Basically just put it on the back of the bolt and the whole bolt through the bolt keg, and put the front O-ring back. Now, one important thing is to keep this part of the bolt dry. You don't want to have the grease come into the breech and just trap the dirt that might come through and increase the breech wear or get on the ball, causing inaccurate paintballs, or making it more inaccurate. Okay, so I set that aside. Here is the valve with the 3 O-rings. Now on the bottom of this video, I'll put several links to the diagram of the drivetrain, so you can look at the picture and see what size O-rings, just in case you want to do a whole O-ring rebuild. And if you're interested in trying out different kinds of O-rings, there will also be a link on the description on the different types of O-rings, as well as links to buying these O-rings. Now there's one that sells it in bulk. If you're interested in having a lifetime supply, they come in packs of 10, 15, 25, 50, and 100, depending on the type of O-ring that you want. I mean, you can certainly get Bona for a pack of 100 pretty cheaply. You can basically make your own master O-ring set. But there's also a website which I haven't bought from, but if you don't want to buy a whole bunch of O-rings, I've heard that they'll sell it individually. So if you're on a budget and you don't really want to spend $30 or so on a set of O-rings, or a pack of O-rings that you won't be using, you can go that route. And you'll have the freedom to try the Vitons or the polys and see if that works out for you. Alright, so basically, I'll just stand it up right there. Here is the valve keg, and here is the valve. One little thing that I use to help me remember which side goes in is that you'll see a little ridge on the inside of the valve, and I'll just use that as a reference and put that inside like so, and that will screw in right there. Now, for people out there that have had problems disassembling their drivetrain when they're trying to service it, one trick is to just get some grease on that inner O-ring to prevent it from getting stuck in the future. So basically you just tighten that up, put the power tube right through. If you want, you can just work it through a little bit, get the grease around there. If you want, you can also check out the link that I'll put. Somebody from aggressivesports.net is selling hand-fitted O-rings. So if you don't want to go through the trouble of hand-fitting the O-rings and just want to get the whole kit, you could go that route too. But for me, I didn't even hand-fit these O-rings. I just put whatever I picked out of the bag, and so far so good. But if you want to go through the hand-fitted O-rings, that'll be fine too. Now these on the outside of the drivetrains are Bona O-rings. You don't really need to put Viton or poly in there because these are not dynamic, and you're definitely fine with just Bona. But these are number 20 O-rings, and you don't really need to put grease in there. If you still have some lube or grease in your fingers, and you could just get it all there. Just get it all wet. But this is just to make it a little bit easier to get in and out. Okay, so basically that's it. I mean, it didn't take long. Hopefully this video has been informative, and if you have any questions, feel free to comment, or if there's something that I left out or said something incorrectly, definitely let me know. And if you like it, just subscribe. And thank you for watching the video. Thanks. Oh, forgot to mention, one other handy little tool is the pressure tester. Now it's not necessary, but definitely helps you when you're trying to troubleshoot your GT. a nifty little device that tells you what pressure your GT is running at. So if you're having problems with the way it's performing and you're not sure if it's the input pressure or if it's the drivetrain, this is a nifty or a helpful little tool to have in your gear bag. Basically, you just take out the drivetrain and unscrew it, the back cap, screw this on and push it in and air it up, and it'll tell you what pressure you're running at. Now, like I said before, I have Vitons in the dynamic O-string, mostly with polyurethane in the power tube, and after putting one case right through it, I was able to get 285, 290 at about, I would estimate 90 psi. I had to turn it down a little bit. I mean, it was a little bit hard to exactly tell what pressure, but it was definitely under 100. I mean, if I really wanted to be more specific, I can certainly just take this out and put an Ashcroft gauge in there, and hopefully it'll be able to tell me more accurately what pressure I'm running at, but that's fine. I mean, I was able to turn it down like half a turn in, so that's good, and I can't wait to check it out again after 3 to 4 cases. But again, sorry, and hope you like this video. Thanks for watching. Bye.